Sawadee Krap and welcome to another episode here for the Funkit Pod, Mindful Media and Communication. And as you can see from the title, When Gaming Takes Over Pop Culture, we are talking about gaming. So strap on your headset as we dive into, gaming's, I'm gonna call it the cultural takeover. Yeah, that's right. Gaming is leveling up from, if you're as old as I am, know as a niche pastime to a full-on media monarch. Yeah, so let's plug in to some communication theories to help explain how gaming became that big. And after that, I will show a few examples and explain how this all relates together. And so the first theory I want to talk about this time around is one that we discussed before, the cultivation theory. Now, you remember that from previous episodes. The theory posits that the more exposure society has to something, the more normalized it becomes within our cultural reality. Yeah, so gaming in this case has cultivated a massive audience because there are nearly 3 billion gamers. Yeah, its prevalence in our lives validates it as a mainstream entertainment on par with movies, sports, and so on. And let's just take a moment to think about popular franchises such as Call of Duty or Minecraft for the matter, right? They've become embedded in our culture that even if you've never played them, you probably recognize those names. And that's cultivation theory in action right there. But the question that arises, of course, is whether or not gaming's ubiquity is an unalleviated positive for society, right? Like, let's level up again our critical thinking in this case, okay, and just hit start on analyzing those drawbacks that might come with this exposure to gaming. And I mean, sure, gaming can be a harmless hobby. Addiction is always a concern, right? Especially for parents, it's always like, oh my God, are my kids addicted? What should I do? And studies estimate that up to 9% of gamers exhibit addictive behaviors. Yeah, symptoms like withdrawal and cravings for gaming can, of course, negatively impact health, schooling, work, and so on. Now, 9% doesn't sound that much, but of course, if that happens, it's terrible, right? And the statistics are from the US because it's usually the easiest to find statistics from the US. So the average American kid spends over 2 hours a day gaming. To be honest, as someone who works at a university and engages with Gen Z and the younger audience a lot, this doesn't seem that much. But on average, right? 2 hours a day gaming. So understanding healthy moderation is key, right? Especially for parents, of course. But this gaming disorder that's out there remains misunderstood and very often, to be honest, stigmatized because it does require a more nuanced discussion. And in addition to that, right, unfortunately, toxicity is also something that still plagues many gaming communities. Like misogyny, of course, harassment towards female gamers and streamers is still far too common. And the same goes for racism, homophobia, and any prejudice you can think of. And of course, while strides have been made, the dark side of gaming culture continues to limit inclusion and even advancement opportunities for those marginalized groups. So more needs to be done to foster healthy, ethical gaming spaces. We had a whole episode on this before, not in gaming, but like on inclusive media. And this also applies to the gaming space, of course. And I have to talk about it, right? So the science on whether violent games encourage real world aggression remains very, very hotly debated, right? So some studies have linked games with violent content to increase hostile behaviors and emotional desensitization. Others did not. Yeah, the connection is pretty complex. Like there are factors like age, personality, gaming context. How did you grow up? Where do you live, right? So there's obviously more research required to really guide ethical development practices and parental oversight. And if you're my age, you might even also say like, hey, I played GTA, but I'm not just running around killing people, stealing cars, right? So there are two valid sides to this debate that have to be more understood, more researched. Another theory that plays into that is the The social cognitive theory, SCT, we talked about this also in a previous episode, so I assume you remember. Yeah, it suggests that we learn behaviors through social modeling. So if you see influencers and celebrities embracing games, this signals to us, the followers, that it's a cool, a worthwhile activity. So when pop idols like Ariana Grande, for example, perform in Fortnite, it's not just about entertainment. It gives a signal to her followers, her fans, that gaming is cool, something worthwhile doing. Okay. And the last theory I want to talk about today is the use and gratification theory. We talked about this before, and you might think, hey, that must be your favorite theory. You mentioned all the time. Yeah, kinda, because well, it's all about how we use media to satisfy our needs, and that's what we do all the time, right? So gaming isn't just about the gameplay; it provides players with a sense of achievement, of social belonging, and of course, entertainment. Especially for younger audiences, the social engagement that gaming offers fulfills like some key emotional needs, which in return explains the wide appeal that gaming has and the growing influence that comes along with it. So if we understand those theories, right, we gain some valuable insights into why gaming has such a huge, such a massive impact on our society and why it has seamlessly taken over pop culture. And to give some examples, yeah, exhibit A, so to speak, in this takeover, like celebrities steal the Hollywood spotlight. Like gaming streamers like Ninja, for example, are now celebrities in their own right. Like they command follow accounts that rival those of traditional movie stars. Those gamers may not look like your traditional Hollywood A-lister, but they are most certainly just as influential, if not more. This past weekend, as time of recording, the streamer in the US had like a PS5 giveaway on Union Square, and there were so many people. It got out of hand. Police had to escort people, arrest people, and whatnot. Crazy. And that's why also brands are eager to collaborate with those new age celebrities. And they hope to tap into their sway with younger demographics. And even Hollywood is getting in on the action with like movie reboots like Sonic, Mortal Kombat, the Mario movie, and so on. So they're also hoping to cash in on the gaming nostalgia with like maybe people, if you're my age again, our generation, and the gaming hype, the gaming trend with the younger generation. That said, we gotta ask ourselves, do these, in this case, right, Sonic, Mortal Kombat, and so on, Mario, do these reimagined characters hold the same appeal without the original pixelated charm? And as much as we're grateful Sonic got a much needed makeover, or if you're more in Team Nintendo, Mario, are these adaptations actually a sign of creative stagnation? More on this in a future episode when we talk about like why we are in a remix culture right now and so on. Yeah, something to think about for one of the future episodes. We're focusing now on more the success of games, but something to think about. But it's not only Hollywood that jumps into that, right? The music industry joins the game as well. Very enthusiastically, the music industry is plugging, again, into the gaming scene, right? So, for example, Epic's, we talked about Epic's Fortnite before, right? Ariana Grande. Like Travis Scott also had a concert there. So it's not just a one-off, it happens a lot. And they always attract massive audiences. And those in-game concerts, they are a win-win. That allows the artist to connect with a younger audience who prefers gaming to maybe traditional concert venues. And they also rack up significant views for the musicians and, in this case, Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite. But even outside of virtual concert, right, music is integrating with gaming culture. Like we got rap songs dropping gaming references left and right. We got artists like Dua Lipa releasing like in-game skins for The Sims, for example. It seems clear that the music industry is leveling up its game. And yes, the puns keep coming. But it's not all. Like let's switch gears to also live streaming. Live streaming has fueled gaming influence as well. Like sites like Twitch, YouTube Gaming, Facebook, whatever, they boast hundreds of millions of users. Yeah, the revenue from those platforms is staggering. It reaches billions every year. Yeah, so the popularity of those streamers, that stems partially from theory that we also discussed, parasocial relationships. Their viewers develop one-sided bonds with their favorite personalities. And the streamers, they feel relatable. They feel like a friend hanging out together playing games. Yeah, you think to just name one, right? Like iShowSpeed, right? Speed. like who's always those crazy reactions to, in this case, like to everything, but he's famous from his football reactions, right? And you think you know him because he's always online and you see him doing this crazy stuff all the time and his reactions. But it's just a parasocial relationship. Yeah, those parasocial connections, they are very, very, very powerful. But, and here's the but, they're also concerning because they're like of illusory nature. So impressionable viewers may not realize that their favorite streamer doesn't really know them. So that's a very, very important thing to consider, to think about. So when we put this all together, right? And when we reach the end of today's, I'm going to call that quest now because I'm going to stick with all my gaming puns. Gaming's rise as a cultural titan is pretty undeniable. But it's also incredibly crucial to recognize that it is not without challenges. And we talked about, like in the beginning, we talked about the challenges of, has it only positive impacts? Does it have negative impacts as well? Addiction could be one. Those parasocial relationships could be another one. That's what we also have with influencers, for example, right? And in some of the future episodes, we're going to dive deeper into some of those potential issues, including creativity, as I said earlier, like why is everything being remixed, for example. We also talk about addiction and more. But as we wrap up right now, I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, what's your take on gaming's impact on A, pop culture, and B, also on society? Yeah, have you experienced this phenomenon firsthand? Are you an active gamer, an active streamer? Do you consume those streams, for example? And before I tell you to subscribe and all those things, one thing just popped into my head, right? So when I was a teenager, there was no live streaming. But what we did, I remember this. I think back then World of Warcraft just came out. Was like, now you know how old I am. And one of my friends, for his birthday or something, he didn't have World of Warcraft and his parents wouldn't let him get it. But he liked it so much so that some of his friends recorded on a VHS tape them playing World of Warcraft and gave it to him for his birthday so he could watch other people play World of Warcraft. So it is not a completely new idea, is what I'm saying. But now, of course, it's just very, very easy. But this just shows that and the connection that we have with gaming is like very, very deep rooted. So it's not just a thing that just happened over the past few years. It's just easier now, of course, and the connections are more intense. But the idea of watching other people play and just being part of it has been there for a while, I believe. Okay, but that's enough of all the personal anecdotes, and I don't want to give you any more hints as to how old I am. So let's wrap it up here. Until next time, keep gaming, and more importantly, keep thinking critically, of course, about the media that you consume, about the games that you're playing, because just like media, games also have agendas, of course. But more on this when we dive into like the dark hole, and in a future episode when we discuss all things bad about gaming, media, and so on. For today, that's enough. Let's end it on a positive. Keep on gaming. Before you game, though, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a review. That would be very cool because then we reach more people. Until then, stay safe, take care, and we talk soon. Now game on. Sawadee Cup.